So much, I mean, it's unfortunate, but remember that you've made it this far. So everything about survival begins with a mindset. And folks, your mindset right now needs to be, I've got a little bit further to go. Everything says that Friday, the sun comes up and the weather goes away. So your only goal right now is to get from now to Friday morning sunrise. And the way to do that is do it in little increments, okay? What we call little victories in POW training. And that's, okay, I made it to noon, okay? I got a chance to eat something. Okay, I made it to sundown. Little victories like that. And here's a worst case scenario for that. The POWs in Vietnam, they said a really good day was when they got a cockroach and they were going to eat that later. That was a little victory for them. Some of them were doing that for 7 years. I know you folks can make it to Friday morning.
Cade, these are regular folks. They have no specialized training. They didn't sign up to be soldiers. They just, they were living their lives, and now they find themselves in this situation. I guess off the heels of that, we ought to be asking, who else could this happen to? Should we all be prepared to be in this position, and if so, how?
Nobody ever expects to be in this situation. So what you need to do is, again, the mindset. Instead of, how did this happen to me, it's, I am going to be ready when this happens to me. Now, look, I have all the compassion in the world for the people that are going through this right now. You have two choices. You can fight on to Friday morning, or you can quit. And I know you're tougher than that. You can make it to Friday morning. But this is really for the people out there that are sitting in their living rooms right now. They had a beautiful sunny day in LA or something like that. Get ready, because this time next week, we could potentially be talking about a major earthquake in your neighborhood. Get ready for this.
I believe we've got Rita Cosby. She's an investigative journalist for HLN who's actually on the East Coast in the middle of the storm. There you are. Oh, my goodness. Rita, what are conditions like at the moment?
Dr. Drew, they are absolutely miserable. It is bitter outside. It's been snowing, and it's very, very heavy wind, howling, blistering wind, and it's pounding as it's hitting my face here. And I've been out, as you know, I was talking to you when I was in Hoboken last week in some rough conditions. This is absolutely bitter. And for the residents here, you're talking about survival. In the last, I would say, probably about 1 square mile area that I am in here, I have only seen one family around. They are being heated by a propane heater, and they just told me that the fuel is running out. People in this area are desperate, Dr. Drew. It's dire conditions. Thousands are still without power because of Hurricane Sandy. This area was hit so hard with a huge wall of water. I'm 5'4", and the wall of water that came through just 100 yards or so away from me here was about 7 or 8 feet, much taller than me. Even imagine the kind of damage and destruction. And so few people even have homes left. Take a look at the house behind me here. You can see this whole facade has been ripped off, and people are just lost everything they own. I want to show you also something, Dr. Drew. I'm out here in the middle of it all. You can see all the snow. This has just been in the last few hours. But take a look at over here. This just broke my heart when I saw this. A wedding picture on the front of a car. Somebody's wedding picture reminding them of happy times. As tonight, they're going through probably one of the most dismal times ever. Freezing, no heat, no power. And the stations, there were FEMA and Red Cross stations that were set up about a mile away from here, supplying people with blankets and food and water. Those have shut down because the conditions are so horrendous tonight.
Rita, you're breaking my heart. I have been, I don't know exactly where you are, but I've been on Staten Island. And the one thing they had going for them was the community was swelling up. Leaders were emerging. People were helping one another. There was food. There was clothing. Are you saying that even those community supports are beginning to collapse now? There was a lot of frustration with FEMA and Red Cross I was hearing, but at least the community still had the ability to rise up and support itself. Is that what's collapsing now as well?
Collapsing because of this nor'easter, because the weather is so brutal, so bitter, and because the resources are so sparse at this point. But because you can see, I mean, we're in the middle of a blizzard. It is horrible temperatures right now, and these makeshift locations where everybody was coming to. I was at one of them when it opened up, and thousands of people came there. They are now closed because they said they cannot function in this type of weather conditions. Okay. So people are really desperate, really frustrated.
This is so hard to watch, having sort of walked those streets. Cade, let me ask you this. I think there's a certain time you evacuate, right? Isn't this that time? I mean, don't we just have to find a place for these people to live, and they don't stay in? Are you still with me, Kate? Are you still out there? I don't see you just yet.
I am.
There
I
you
hear
are.
you, Dr. Drew.
I mean, this looks ridiculous to me. I mean, I actually found a website. Am I allowed to reference that website? Yeah. I found a website. I was just fishing around called bnb.com, where people were matching up online people who needed a home with people who wanted a home for free, a place to stay. This is now the community outreach that has to happen. They need to evacuate these people. Isn't that reasonable?
Look, I said it Monday. Let me say it again. Life always before property. Why? Why do you decide that you are going to stay put? If you absolutely have to, there better be a good reason for it, because if you're there to protect your home from looters and you lose a relative in the process of protecting your property, you are not going to be able to understand that going on in the future. So get out. I mean, New Yorkers are the best at helping each other out.
And by the way, yes, and by the way, the one thing, the people that are paranoid about looting, first of all, it's too cold to do any looting tonight, but one thing I noticed on Staten Island anyway, is there was police stationed on most corners, at least at the entry areas to these neighborhoods that were so badly hit. So forget about the looting. Forget about the save your, just like Kate's saying, worry about your physical well-being. Let me talk to a caller, Debbie in Pennsylvania. Debbie?
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hi, what's happening?
Oh, I just wanted to tell you that I'm concerned about the storm as well. It's not in my area. I mean, we do have it, but it's not as bad. But my husband's out on the road, and that really concerns me. It is safety in New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, well, you guys are sort of used to heavy snows and cold weather, and more so than us out here. But I completely agree. There's more than to be concerned with than even just the people who've been suffering so far. Everybody needs to